Hello and welcome to another episode of my Thorium playthrough. I don't know why I put on this accent, but you already know, so shall we begin? So I start off by falling to my death inside of a granite cave. That's fun, but my friend watched my old video, and he said, "You're so bad at this, I bet you can't even beat the final boss." So then I was like,
How did to change?
so if you believe that I can beat the final boss, please do anything, leave any interaction. Even a simple thumbs up in the comments instead of a like would do me pretty well. So I go back down to the mines, pick up my money again, and what do you know, I place down the traveling merchant and buy myself the money collector. This is an item that whenever you have any money in your inventory, it automatically places it in your piggy bank. So it's really handy. And a huge lifesaver because I keep dying in this series. You're gonna see a lot of dying. I then go and craft the minions to bridge so that way I can make an arena for the Eye of Cthulhu fight that I'm gonna have later. I then go to the corruption in search of a demon altar and promptly die. Twice. I then realized that going to the left crimson was stupid and decided to go to the right crimson, which had a more accessible demon altar. I then crafted my Eye of Cthulhu and blew up a shadow orb before promptly getting swiftly killed by an Eater of Souls. I then start adding on to my second of many heart houses that I will be making in this world, because it is a lovely playthrough. I then decided to fight the Eye of Cthulhu, so let's see how that goes. Newsflash, I died. I then took my traveling merchant and some wood and smashed them together in a cooking pot in order to make some dynasty wood, so that way I can make the high quality reed, which gives me a whopping +1 damage to all symphonic damage. After that, I got the notification that a goblin army was approaching from the east. Then promptly died. A lot. Like a lot. Like so much it's actually unfunny how much that I've died. I finally beat the goblin army after cheesing the absolute life out of them. Quite literally, so. I then finally met my match, an antlion that was moving at 10 miles a second. I did die to it because it was such a tough opponent. I head back down into the underground desert. My ego hurt from dying to an antlion, so I just decide to cheese their speedy butts. I then blow up some of the desert fossils due to my insane paranoia of enemies being behind them, and look, there we go. I then come across a gilded lichen, which is a peculiar kind of enemy, then died. But I mean, look at how fast that thing is, like, come on, bro. I went back, found another gold lichen, and then killed it by cheesing it, because that's kind of the man I am. I found another life crystal, so of course I took it and used it, giving me one more heart. After mining through this cave a bit more, I blast open a hole to access this glowing mushroom biome, but what I don't know is that there's a bound goblin. So, of course, I go and buy myself the Tinker's Workshop and later buy myself the rocket boots. I then mined into the glowing mushroom cave and found a cloud in a bottle. So that's another mobility accessory that's going to greatly aid me in my efforts in this gameplay. I then noticed that the life crystal was above me, so I went over, mined it, used it, got another heart. After a little bit, I went back to the surface, placed down the Tinker's Workshop, and made the Survivalist shoes, which combines the effects of the Hearty shoes, the Mage's shoes, and the Marching shoes, giving me an 8% speed boost, too. I also combined my other shoes, giving me the Weighted Winglets and the Airwalkers, which are two decent mobility items. I then went to the corruption, ground out some rotten chunks, went back to my house, made leather, and then made the pad-o paper. I then went out, summoned myself the Eye of Cthulhu, and died. I then ventured to the right of my world and find the jungle. My goal for right now is to find an Anklet of the Wind. So I delve into the jungle and die. Now from here on, most of the footage is mostly made up of fishing. Like, out of 2 hours, it's probably like 30 minutes of fishing, because I really needed the extractinator and the sailfish boots. The extractinator for the fossils, so that way I can get the sturdy fossil, and the sailfish boots so that way I can make the lightning boots. After a bit, I went back to my second heart house and increased its stature by quite a bit. I went back down into the jungle, found some feral claws. I also found a forest ocarina, which is a wind instrument. It deals 19 symphonic damage, shoots a inaccurate bolt of magic. It's a sort of wavy type, and if you right click, it summons a sigil for 5 that summons more of those bolts. Then finally, inside of a tree, I find the anklet of the wind, meaning that all I need now are the sailfish boots to make the lightning boots. I then travel to the left of my world, finding my snow biome. I don't really have any goals for this biome, so I just kind of left it alone and traveled more to the left. Traveling more to the left of my world, I have found my dungeon and a thorium biome called the Graveyard. The Graveyard is where you fight a boss called the Lich later in the mod. Going back to my house after fishing, I create my extractinator. Fun fact about the extractinator: if you hold your item and then put it at the top leftmost pixel, then it extracts faster or equal to the chlorophyte extractinator. Alright, so one thing I forgot to add in before the fishing thing, I created the band kit, which increases symphonic damage, playing speed, and inspiration regeneration. It's made from the court grease, the high quality reed, and the pado paper. After finishing my extracting and sorting the goodies that I got from that, I go to my crafting table and make a sitar. The sitar is a string weapon that fires a bouncing ball that bounces once, and it's an upgrade to the Dynasty Gushang in that it gives 0.4 seconds of invincibility instead of 0.3. I then went to the Goblin Tinker and reforged my sitar to Fabled. I then went and cooked all of my fish from my fishing attempts. It was a lot, and now I have a permanent well-fed buff. With an iron crate that I caught while fishing, I have crafted a lucky horseshoe. Now all I need is the balloon, and I can have a blue horseshoe balloon. Going to the corruption, I crafted a slime crown with a ruby that I found, and decided to try and fight the king slime. But it despawned. With the pain of the despawn in mind, I summoned the blood moon to try and grind some money and get some shark tooth necklaces. After a bit of cheesing, I defeated a thorium boss named Patchwork, who drops mostly healing items and allows for a confused zombie to move in. After the blood moon, I go safely back to the abomination, cancel the event, and have 2 shark teeth necklaces. Me being the absolute dunce that I am, decided, oh, well, what if I can beat the Eater of Worlds since I have a piercing weapon? Newsflash, I died. After a bit, I finally summoned the Eye of Cthulhu, and I'll let you see how that one goes. After killing the Eye of Cthulhu, I used the 2 shadow diamonds that I got from killing him and made a storage heart for my magic storage. Now I don't have to rely on stinky chests anymore because now all my chests are going to be accessible in one single area. I then have the blacksmith move in. Now the blacksmith is an important NPC in this early game mod because he gives me the arcane armor fabricator. The arcane armor fabricator allows me to make better weapons. Honestly, they're just great weapons. With this arcane armor fabricator, I create the U-Wood Lute. Now the U-Wood Lute is a pretty good string weapon. It gives me +1 regeneration speed, so I got that buff on my side, and it deals far more damage than the sitar, so obviously I have to use it. So I bought the movie concert tickets from the party girl and made the guitar pick for my my U-Wood Lute. So now I have an extra bounce to my projectiles from that, and I get more inspiration. So, woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. I then go finish up my first heart house. And it's all downhill from here. I found this strange boss room for one of the Thorium bosses, and I think I forgot about it. So I'm gonna come back to this one next episode. I then found a gold chest, and it had a magic mirror in it. So now I didn't have to rely on my fleeting amount of recall potions. Despite the fact that recall potions are actually quicker at being used than the magic mirror has infinite uses, so I find that drawback a bit fair. I then go down to the demon altars so I can create some inspiration fragments. And I do what I do best. I just get to be the best. You know, I increased my inspiration, so I'm doing pretty good. I then decide to try and fight the Eater of Worlds, and you can guess how that went. I then decide to guzzle down a gravity potion and fly into the sky. I found a shiny red balloon and a star fury, but I'm more focused on the shiny red balloon and the sky mill that I found. With the sky mill, I can create something called the sky loom. And the sky loom is one of my most favorite early game weapons because it's just projectile spam. So I go and reforge my Skyware loot to Fabled, so now it's even better. I forgot to record most of this fight, but I died to the Eater of Worlds. On that note, I'm gonna end it here. I hope y'all have a lovely day, and I hope you enjoyed. See ya.